Flight. 6,000 feet climbing. Begin throttle down for Q limiting. Engine response looks good. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. Mach 1, vehicle is supersonic. Engine back up to full throttle.
Supersonic, we have passed through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. That's when the vehicle, the stresses between the atmosphere and the speed are at the maximum. So to punch through that is so important. You see the BE3 engines is firing beautifully. You see the stream of steam behind it. Those ladies right now are having an incredible view on their way to space. Passing through 80,000 feet, 1,300 miles per hour. You're going to peak at about 2,300 miles an hour over Mach 3, 3 times the speed of sound. Shortly coming up, we'll have MECO, main engine cutoff. We will turn off the engine, but the two craft, the capsule and the booster, will continue their ascent to space.
Stand by, MECO.
And there you saw the main engine is turned off. We're now going to separate the capsule from the booster, and at that point, Kristen, that's when all 6 astronauts are going to start to feel the weightlessness, and shortly thereafter, we're going to let them unbuckle.
And that right there is the most critical milestone of this whole ascent. Oprah watching her best friend go to space.
Oh man, Nate, this was, I don't know. I got chills. I got tears in my eyes when I first heard the enormous burst of sound.
Yeah.
Dr. Mae Jemison is here with us to describe what we just saw with our very own eyes. Our friend, our colleague, Gayle King, and the rest of the Blue Origin crew heading into space.
So what you saw were tons of high explosives in a controlled explosion that propelled them up high. And that's the sound and the rumble. And so it's very visceral. You feel it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think when we watched them until they went out of sight, it was just really exciting because you know how high they are.
Okay, so once they went out of sight, so small that we couldn't see them, were they still going up?
They were still going up. They were still going up. And I think main engine cutoff maybe happened about like less than a minute after that.
Okay.
After we couldn't see them anymore. And then the capsule separated from the main booster. The main booster is going to come back and land.
Yeah.
We're gonna pause, Dr. Jemison, and listen here because we can actually hear them on the main feed.
The highest point in flight, well over 345,000 feet, well over the Kármán line.
Wow.
And at this moment, the astronauts have unstrapped from their seats. They are floating. They are weightless. They are experiencing zero G for the very first time in their lives. And Katy Perry did say that she was going to sing in space. I'm waiting for it.
Waiting for it.
1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
So that is Capcom indicating a 1 minute warning for our astronauts to take in those last views before they get buckled back into their seats. At this point, both craft are descending already. And you hear
Dragon. Report status. Copy. Whip. Report status. Copy. All astronauts in seat.
And a great piece of news there. All astronauts are back in their seats. You see the two craft now. That on the bottom, that is the rocket that is screaming back down to Earth. The rocket will beat the capsule to its landing spot just 2 miles north of where it's taken off from. At the top of the rocket, you see a couple of fins that have popped out. Those are to stabilize the rocket as it comes into land. Shortly thereafter, you will see the drag brakes that deploy that will cut the speed of the rocket in half. And then in the last moments,
and there it is. We can see it from the stage.
There comes the rocket down. It's going to relight its engine. We're going to also see a sonic boom. We're going to hear that shortly here.
And remember, this is something that had never been done before until just a few years ago. Truly the stuff of science fiction that you're about to watch in just seconds.
Drag brakes. And booster touchdown, welcome home, New Shepard.
Picture perfect landing right
Picture perfect landing.
Right on target.
See that dust kind of creates this dramatic cloud that reveals the beautiful rocket that has just taken these ladies up to space and back.
And I love the echo across the mountains. Is that what I was hearing there?
That's what you were hearing. You heard the sonic boom, then you heard the engine relight, and all of that reverberates in this big, beautiful valley in West Texas.
Stand by drogue. Stand by drogue.
All right, shortly here, we're waiting to see the drogue parachutes deploy from the crew capsule. Those are like the guide parachutes. There we go, the drogue parachutes.
Just free falling right there until those drogues came out.
And then next will be the main parachutes that get pulled out.
Hear that screaming inside the capsule?
And all three parachutes reefing, and they will slowly inflate, slowing the capsule to a nice, smooth 10, 15 miles an hour. They are cruising back home.
3 good parachutes.
And I tell you, Kristen, from having gone through all of the simulations, I have gone through all of the training. They put you in the capsule that simulates all of this, including the sounds. And when you hear the motors of the parachutes pop out, that is the best moment in flight.
Because I know Blue Origin does everything they can to make this as safe as possible, and y'all have an impeccable safety record, but it still has to feel really good when you know that you're coming back to Earth with those parachutes fully deployed.
And we can see the capsule just over our shoulder here, going to be landing north and east of the launch pad, coming down softly and beautifully. 500 feet.
And you will see a puff of smoke when it touches down, a puff of dust.
Actually, yes.
That's normal.
A puff of dust, last milliseconds, air cushion that will kick up the dust. It's a very soft landing despite the sporty perception. There it is.
That's it. I mean, there we are, folks. Successfully back on Earth. Let me just say, all of us here were excited. There were tears of joy as we saw it all unfold in front of our eyes, Nate. We could hear the astronauts, and they are now astronauts. We could hear them in the capsule cheering. And my favorite moment, the moment that actually made me burst out into tears, is when I heard Gayle saying, "Oh, look at that." Because she was so scared going and leading up to this moment. And we told her not to be. We told her it was going to be incredible. And then we could hear her marveling at Mother Earth as she looked at it from the capsule. And that for me, and I've got my little Gayle pom-pom.
Yeah, we're all going to celebrate. So many emotions running through us right now.
Ooh.
I cannot wait to talk to Gayle because I know that she embraced every single moment of it. You could hear it in her voice. You can hear all the other women. This was special to be part of.
It was very special. And, you know, when we first heard the blast, the liftoff, right, we were like, it's going, it's going.
Yeah.
And, you know, through every stage of the 11 minutes that these astronauts were on this voyage, all I could think about is how incredible what it is that they're doing, because so few humans have ever done this. That's the thing that is remarkable to me. Out of the hundreds of billions of people who've lived on this planet, only a couple of hundred, several hundred have been able to go into space.
Yeah, what an assignment to be here for this historic moment. And my heart is very full. You know, we want to bring in Mark Strassman to add a little bit of detail to what he is seeing and what's going to happen next.
Hey, Nate, I'm standing on the viewing platform a couple of miles from the launch pad. There are about 40 or 50 specially invited friends and family of the now newly minted astronauts who have been standing with me. And one of the many extraordinary parts of the last 10 minutes has been that all these people, 40 or 50 people, have all been staring at the sky and looking and cheering, and nobody has been looking at their phone. That's amazing to me. And instead staring up and cheering and just riveted to the drama going on for whoever it is that they are connected to here. And frankly, I think a lot of people are connected to everybody on board in this moment. And so now we have, I saw something else, which is there is a Blue Origin recovery team heading out to get the astronauts out of the capsule. As part of that recovery team, each of the astronauts has a family member or a friend who has been allowed to go out as part of a convoy to go out to greet them. We saw Oprah Winfrey dressed in a bright yellow outfit get into a truck and head out as part of that convoy. Each of the astronauts will come out one at a time to be greeted by their friends and family. And what a homecoming that's going to be, right? I mean, this is just, again, one of those moments that is hard to replicate in any other way. A successful launch, space experience, and landing now of 6 women who went up beyond the Kármán line, beyond the edge of space, floated for 3 minutes or so, had some extraordinary views. I thought I heard Katy Perry singing up there, and listen, she had a lot to sing about. Nate?
All right, Mark, thank you so much. We'll check back in with you a little bit later. Right now, we want to bring in Dr. Mae Jemison. You joined us all morning, and I'm sorry we had to pepper you with so many questions while this was going on, but I just need to know what I was looking at. Can you break down what just happened over the last 15 minutes?
So what happened is first you saw the flame, then you felt the sound,
No
right?
doubt.
So it's a treat for your eyes and your body.
Mm-hmm.
But even more than that, you saw the ingenuity, the commitment, the talent that goes into making space launches possible. You saw the courage that it takes for people to get on it, the courage that it also takes for the engineers and the other folks to make it happen. And then you saw some of the possibilities for the future. That's what I think you saw. And what they're going to come back and tell us is that they saw the Earth from a whole different perspective. They saw our atmosphere, which is our home. That's what happened. And then they came back. And that's the important part.
That's right.
Come back to share the story.
Dr. Jemison, everyone who's been into space, the first time they go and they come back, they talk about what you're suggesting here, which is you've never considered the planet that we share, this little blue marble in this universe, in the way that you consider it once you've seen it from the majesty of space. Can you just describe that first moment, that how you felt the first time you saw Earth from space?
So I have a little bit different take on it, but let me tell you, the first thing I saw from space was Chicago. Is where I grew up, my hometown. And I remember being a little girl on the south side of Chicago, assuming I'd go into space at a time where there were no women, there were no people of color, that the United States was sitting in space. So for me, it was one about commitment and, hey, we're able to do remarkable things. In terms of the connection to the Earth, I've always felt connected to the Earth. I think what it does is it helps us to understand that we have this privilege to be on this wonderful planet. And what we have to do right now is to make sure that we don't treat it in such a way that it won't keep being hospitable to our life form. That's what I took away from it, that this planet is remarkable. It has remarkable potential, and that we owe it to ourselves to do a better job.
Let me just describe for our viewers what's happening here. The vehicles that you saw going out to the capsule are the very close friends and families of those astronauts who they've selected to join them once they exit the capsule. And I believe for Gayle, it's going to be, of course, favorite daughter Kirby, favorite son Will, and her best friend Oprah Winfrey, who are out there in that very area that you're looking at right now, where the capsules landed. And there are more friends and family back in the stands. But this is a select group of very, very close friends and family who are going to greet the astronauts as they step out of the capsule.
And they have to go through safety protocols. You can't just land and then pop out. They have to do things the way that they actually prepared themselves to. But this is something special. You know, Doc, I want to bring you back in because we talked about representation and how it matters when it comes to this all-female crew that just went up into space. How does that sink into a woman who broke some barriers herself?
So I'm going to quote Lizzo. It's about damn time.
Right?
I mean, it's one of those things that I would never have imagined would take us this long to get to. And so why it's important is that it's not that women hadn't gone up before. It's that we are fully capable of doing this on our own, right? Fully capable of commanding the space station, fully capable of doing all-female spacewalks. What's really important about this is the world is getting to see it in a way that sometimes we don't cover it, right? From stem to stern, so that folks actually know the folks that went on board, they feel comfortable with them, and they know that, you know, this is not something that's gonna just happen once. It's gonna happen more.
Of course.
So we want to get, I think we, Tony and Dana and David are standing by in New York. And guys, I don't know how you felt and what you did when we saw that booster and that capsule blast off into space, but let's get your reaction. I know Bill Harwood's there with you and some others who are going to describe the immense emotion and feeling of triumph that happens when you blast off into space and come back successfully to Earth.
Well, Vlad, we were holding our breath. When we heard the Blue Origin announcer, their team say, that thing wants to take off, I was like, woo, here we go. But David, I want to hear your thoughts, because I see you as kind of an interpreter of wonder, and what we just witnessed was anything if not wonderful.
I had the first phase of chills, right? Like the goosebumps. And then I got very emotional. And what I realized is the gratitude I feel, not because I'm on there, but because I'm getting to be a witness to it. And I think just the ability to be a witness to it, when that rocket was coming back down and landed with such precision, I thought to myself, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive and to be human and to witness something like this. I got to be honest with you. When I saw Gayle's face, Gayle King has taught me, always speak candidly. She looked terrified, and it scared the hell out of me. And so as it went up, I asked you, if you'll remember, are we out of danger yet? You were like, no, not yet. You said the descent is actually worse. And I thought, oh gosh. She was being so honest about fear. There were conversations about, you know, if something goes wrong, there were questions for us to ask. I was so nervous, but to witness this as a human. Thank you, Gayle King. She deserves every bit of good that comes from it. And to Bezos and the team and Lauren Sanchez, you know, when they write the story of Gayle's life, astronaut and first female crew to space will be there.
Yeah, on time.
What a billboard.
You're absolutely right. On time, on target, a very successful launch. Bill, I've seen a lot of rockets launch into the air. I have not seen many land, and we saw a rocket land today on target. What does that mean?
It's another indication of the commercialization of space. You know, Elon Musk builds Falcon 9s. One took off this morning earlier. The first stage came back and landed. You know, they've done that hundreds of times. But seeing people come down like that on a human-rated spacecraft like this, that's unique to this point anyway.
For people watching at home, I've heard you say that this could come down in price point to around the level of around the world cruise. Still a reach, but something that a lot of people could possibly reach for.
That's a guesstimate, guys. I mean, that's what they hope will happen with Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin. Economies of scale, if you can launch enough of these things, price can come down.
And we're watching them because this is some of the safety checks. They have to check on everybody through the windows. Vanessa, you've gone through this. And you and I just kept saying, and maybe I just hang on to the emotion of it. I couldn't stop smiling. The way they're feeling in there, how you felt, this roller coaster of emotion continues for them to a point where you have to collect yourself sometimes in there before you come out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill and I were chatting earlier about, you know, can you measure the difference that this makes in your life? And the answer is yes, because we have wireless MRIs. And so what I did very quickly was wear a wireless MRI, T minus, T plus, 5 minutes rotating rock, 5 minutes rotating earth before. My brain did not differentiate the rock and earth. After the flight, rotating rock, rotating earth, 5 minutes, my parietal lobe lit up like a Christmas tree, which means decrease. I was at one with what I was seeing. So
which is why people do walk out of this experience and feel differently about Earth and how they view our
It
Earth.
is changing.
How much does the heart rate increase when you're riding on this thing?
How fast can you run?
So
that adrenaline, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're sweating. You are absolutely sweating when that 5.2 Gs comes on descent.
Wow.
Because think about this, things don't fall to Earth.
Sure.
The last meteorite I remember falling was 2013 in Russia. You saw these huge pieces of metal poke through the windows. You have to pierce that barrier to Earth.
And they're back.
Looks like Jeff Bezos might be the first to greet them. When they step out.
He's holding some sort of an implement. Bill, do you know quickly what that is before we go back out to Texas?
And are they unstrapped at this point? Are they unbuckled at this point? Or not yet?
It looks like they're standing inside.
Okay.
They're probably, if people are, they'll go in reverse order. So 6 went first last time. 1 will come out first here. I think Lauren is 6.
Yeah.
But reverse order, they'll come out. But usually people need a minute because they're emotional inside and they know they're going to walk out to cameras and cheers and applause. So, but this is one of the most, the great historic moments for women, and it really disrupts the future of space and paths to space.
Let me just jump in real quick to clarify what I said earlier. People have come down on spacecraft before. I mean, the Space Shuttle, Gemini, Mercury, and Apollo, but this is the commercialization factor that I was referring to with that.
Astronauts who trained for their entire lives.
Right.
And that's the disruptor, is that the men and women and boys and girls out there can have this in their life.
Yeah. And Bezos has that hatch popped. Nate, Vlad, are you watching this?
We are watching it, Tony, and that is Bezos who just popped the hatch open, and he is welcoming all of the crew out for the first time.
Lauren Sanchez is out first. I think we're going to see Gayle the next because I think she's in the next position. I could be wrong about that, but let's listen in.
We have to go there. Okay.
Katie.
Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Amanda! Woo! the second. Thank you, Jesus. Oh my God. That was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I'm so proud. So proud of you.
Oh, way to go.
Amazing. I'm so proud of you.
I mean, Nate, what a beautiful moment to see all these astronauts coming out of the capsule. And of course, our own Gayle King kissing the ground, hugging Jeff Bezos. But look, I've been getting text messages from people all over, young and old. And even my wife sent me a photograph of Celine watching the space launch. And you
Your
can
daughter.
see she's pointing to the television screen with
a
big
huge smile on her face.
Right. That's how momentous this is for, I just think, people who dream big dreams and they see what they just saw, what we just witnessed. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think some would say, oh, it's an all-female crew, so every little girl is going to be watching. That's a correction here. I say every little girl, every little boy, the representation for everyone that looks up to these women who all came from different walks of life to have an historic moment that we all witnessed.
I also hope that we know that it's not just the little girls and the little boys, it's the grown folks who are making the decisions
There you go.
and telling you what you can and cannot do and making sure that we're included everybody in it. So it's the whole group of humanity
Yeah,
that we're talking
and speaking of, there's something that you said before that I thought was really powerful that really applies to this moment. You said that what is above us unites us. What did you mean by that?
If you think about it, every group of people around the world have looked at the stars, have figured out what was their movement and things like that. So space exploration is a part of all of us, and it's the sky is where our weather comes from.
Yeah.
So what's above us unites us, and hopefully we'll think of ourselves as Team Earthlings.
Oh,
some
we
point.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, and thank you at home for watching our special live coast-to-coast coverage of Gayle's historic Blue Origin mission to space. Make sure you head over to CBS News 24/7 to hear from Gayle herself. You know we can't wait to hear what she has to say. That's later on in the press conference. For our viewers in the West, CBS Mornings continues in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
CBS News.
Thank y'all for joining the stream. Just wanted to share that. I didn't even know. I knew this was happening, but I forgot it was happening like this soon. So I was glad I was able to catch it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Bye.